Hi, welcome to GBlend Studio. We are going to learn about 3D modeling. And learning about 3D modeling, we need to choose a specific software, and I came up with Blender because Blender is free software that you can use it to create your animation, designing, editing, video shooting, video editing, and so on. So Blender is very good for us to learn and use it for our work. So if you find this project or this whole tutorial interesting, then please you can subscribe, like and share for me, and don't forget to share your idea in the comment section below. Please let's go on and let's learn how the interface works. The interface, as I said, I'm using 3.4. And if you have already project that you are working on, it to show up here. But if not, let's choose General. By choosing General, it will bring you into the default Blender settings or the Blender interface. But your own, maybe you have the camera, the lights, and then the cube already inside. I have deleted mine, and then I have saved this interface to be a default anytime I open Blender. You can do so, but I'll show you how you can do that later on in this video. So please stay around and let me show you the trick that I did. It's not that big a trick, but it's very useful to do that. But Blender can be seen overwhelming to beginners. But with a little guidance, it's actually quite easy to navigate. So we need to understand the interface so that we'll be able to move freely in Blender. Firstly, the Blender interface is divided into several panels or areas. Each area contains specific functionalities or tools that you can use for your project. The main areas are the 3D viewport, properties, outliner, timeline, and the toolbar over here. So we need to go deep into each of the panels or the areas right here so that we'll be able to understand them very, very well. To do that, I'm going to discuss about the 3D viewport. But before I start, I'd like to turn on an add-on so that will be easy for us to move quickly and move together. So this is called Shortcut VUR. Let me bring this one to center. So what this one does is, it will show you which side of the mouse or keyboard I'm clicking. So if you find it difficult which place I'm clicking, then you can just watch the side, then you'll be able to see it. The viewport is where you create and edit your 3D models. Here you can view and manipulate objects in a 3D space, change camera angles, and apply various transformation to objects. So if you have a mouse which has the middle mouse, you can just hold the middle mouse, then you can move around. But if you don't have, you can just move your mouse pointer to this side, hold left click, and then you can just move your mouse around, then you'll be able to panel around also. You can zoom in and zoom out by moving your mouse, or by using your middle mouse, scroll in and then you scroll out to zoom in and zoom out. You can also move around this way and panel it around. You can use a camera also, but I don't have a camera in our scene. You can also add a new object into the scene by clicking Add, then choose Mesh. But it depends on what you are doing, then you select it. Let's say Cube, which is over here. We can also use a shortcut to bring in a new cube or bring in a new mesh into the scene by clicking Shift A. Then maybe we choose, let's say, cylinder. Then we drag the cylinder to another place. So you need to also keep your eyes over here, as I said, so that you'll be able to know which key I was clicking, so that it's not confuse you that much. But we need to also understand the movement that I did earlier, which is grabbing it. To move objects or mesh in our scene, we need to either come up here, then click on Move, then we can just select it, or let's say click and then we move around, depending on the axis that you want it to be. So Z is up and down, X left and right, and then depend on where you have positioned yourself at. So we need to also understand that, and we can use a shortcut for that without clicking this side. You can just click on G on our keyboard, Y to move it on Y axis, or X and Z also as well. We can also rotate it. By clicking rotate, they can rotate it on any angle at all. Okay, so this will be perfect for us, You can also use a shortcut also, why not? Shortcut is then you can rotate it on any axis at all. Let's say x-axis, y-axis, depending on what we are doing. So that's the shortcut. Please you can take notes about all the shortcuts that I'm doing because it is very useful. And if you know shortcuts in Blender, haha, you are free to go. It will be very fun for you to use Blender every day. So please know your shortcuts so that it will be easy for you. You can also scale everything up. Let's say this one is so small and we need to make it big. Let's move our mouse pointer to this side and click. Let's scale it on x-axis, y-axis, and then on z-axis, but it also depends on what you are doing. We also have a shortcut for that also. To scale it, click on S and you can either make it small or big, or we can scale it on the X, Y, or Z axis that we want it to be. So this is all about the scaling, and we can also do everything in one. Let's say container by clicking this side. And then maybe we can just make it big. You can also move it. You can also rotate it. Rotate it this way. So this one is like everything is in one container. Good. So far we don't have any shortcut for this one. But shortcut is S to scale it or to rotate it, G to grab it. So please keep that in mind. Good. So in this 3D viewport also we can go to a different mode as well. We can either go to edit mode or different mode as well. But that one I will talk about it later on in this video. Let's talk about the properties. The properties panel contains settings that affects the current selected object, such as its location, rotation, and scale, as well as various other settings related to lighting, materials, and more. So with this you can just do so many things about the mesh, or let's say the cube that we have in our scene. So with this, I can just use this property session to manipulate this cube over here. Let's go to this side. Let me show you a few tricks. Maybe yours is in objects, or let's say material mode. The moment you choose random, the color will change anytime you bring a new mesh into your scene. But if you change this one into objects, everything will be looking the same color. But I don't want it this way. I want to see the difference of the object that I have in my scene. That's why I choose random, so that I'll have a different color in my scene. And this helps me a lot, so you can do the same. But before I will talk about their properties and show you how you can use this property panels to change the interface of this, let me go to the preview session. So the preview is going to show you what your object is going to look like. Do you get it? Oh, we were upside down the whole time, so we need to check this side for you to know whether we were in upside down or not. So when it comes to the property session, we need to make sure that we select the cube. Then, let's go to, let's say material, then we click on new, then we can change the color of the cube. So let's say red, green, it depends on what you are doing, so you can use this property panels to do so many things. With this we can even change the roughness of it. Let's say the roughness to be, let's say, this way. When we zoom in, you can see it is getting more shining, right? So the more roughness it gets, you can see that the more it reduced its reflection. So if you decrease it, you can see that we have more lightning in our scene. This is cool, right? So this is kind of a glass cube over there, right? So we can do so many things to be transparent so that you'll be able to see through, but that will come on later on in another tutorial. I will do that, okay? So please you need to stick around and subscribe so that I'll bring you the latest content. We can also talk about the outliner. So the outliner is where you can see a list of all the objects in your scene. So you see that I have cylinder and cube also over here, so it will be listed over here as well for you. It allows you to select and manipulate objects as well as organizing them into groups, layers, and collection. So I can just click over here, then select new collection, then I can just bring the cylinder into this site. And then you can see that the cylinder has its own collection, so that we will be able to organize our everything over here so that it would be easy for us to come here, open it, select it, or we can do so many things out here very well. But then we can also just hide this or this one, and we can either bring them back again. So that's quite cool about the outliner. We also have animation panel that is called timeline. So the timeline is used to create and manage animation in Blender. You can set keyframes, adjust animation curves. And let's say you can also preview your animation. After you have done all your animation, you get it? So let me show you a quick tutorial about the animation. I will not go deep into that, but it will be cool for us to do so. So let me just do a shot intro. So I'm going to bring this one on top of this cube. So first I'll just select the cylinder, click on I and choose location. And then I'll bring this cylinder up. But first let me just drag this frame to, let's say, frame 50 or 40, okay. Grab this one. Let's set to this side. Grab to this side, then also click out to insert another location. And then move this also to this side. Let me see. And then let me just grab this one on top of this. Let's click on I, choose location as well. So when you go to, let's say, frame 1 in the timeline and then you click play, you can see that it is moving okay. Sorry, I just clicked back play action, which I don't need it. Need to click on forward so that it will just start from frame 1 to the other side. So you can see that it's all jumping from that side to on top of the cube. So you can use this side to do all your animation. I will do another tutorial to go deep into this timeline. So